Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned. Hello, guys, welcome to Global Happenings. Today we have a trending news here for you. And the headline of the news reads President Buhari warns Nigerians to stop traveling overseas for this reason. Nigerians react. All right, let's check out the reasons why he's in Nigerians shouldn't travel abroad. But before we do that, please kindly subscribe to our channel. Just click on the red subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish videos on YouTube.
The president, Muhammad Buhari, on Friday said Nigerians should not continue going abroad for medical treatment. Nigerians have suffered so much going abroad for medical treatment. This is not good for us and it must stop because we can't afford it again, the president said. The president, who himself had traveled to the United Kingdom for treatment on several occasions, stated this at the Alex Ekweme Federal University Teaching Hospital Abakaliki during the inauguration and handover of completed project to the management of the hospital. He explained that the project was executed to check flooding and gully erosion in the hospital. The president, who was represented at the event by the Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Obonnaya Onu, lamented the devastating effect of flooding in Southeast geopolitical zone, saying the intervention project will bring relief to the hospital, the state, and its neighborhood. He said the sighting of the project in Ebonyi State signaled an end to the era in the country where some parts of Nigeria were neglected as a result of corruption and favorism. He stressed that the location of the project is a major teaching hospital across the country shows that no part of the country will be neglected again. He said we have paid very serious attention to the health of our people and will continue to do so. The project you celebrate completion today were seriously affecting the workings of this teaching hospital, but today we can say their completion have started helping to improve on the performance and welfare of both the staff and patients of this hospital. I wish to use this medium to congratulate the Secretary of the Government of the Federation, Mr. Boss Mustafa, and his team in the Ecological Fund Office, the project contractor, Mesa Amayaro Nigeria Limited, as well as the project consultant, he said.
All right, thank you very much. It's very, very important for most of the so-called representatives of the government to be fully guided in the way they talk so that they will not, awaken the anger of the people. I believe that before he went there, he's not a new, I'm talking about the minister. He is not new in Nigeria. Neither is he just a fresher, just coming into Nigeria to know that before now, that the president himself has been going abroad to seek medical attention. And we all know the reason why he goes abroad to seek medical attention. Number one, we don't even trust what we have on ground, and what we have on ground cannot deal with most of the medical issues that we have. So for the minister to come forward and make such statement is a clear indication that he has no idea of what actually has been happening in the medical circle, or maybe doesn't have idea about the fact that President Muhammadu Buhari and most other, it's not just President Muhammadu Buhari, most government officials, they travel overseas for their medical situation. For example, when the case of this guy came up, the case of this guy who is jail, Zaki came up. Immediately he said he was sick, that he needed to travel abroad. He needed medical attention. They didn't handle it here. He had to travel to India. The same thing with Fayose, who was under prosecution by the EFCC when he complained that his health was being threatened. They allow him, though he's now enjoying himself in with women out there in the international scene. But when they allow him, he travel abroad. So it's not even Mr. President alone. So many Nigerians. Why? Because we don't even have medical facilities that can handle the medical issues that people have here in Nigeria. Most people that have died in this country would have been saved if the kind of medical facilities provided abroad, medical experts who are there abroad, if they are working here in Nigeria. But unfortunately, that's not the situation. The most amazing part of this whole thing is that on a yearly basis, there are huge budgets that goes to each of this ministry. For example, Ministry of Health, there are huge budgets that go to them with a huge expectation that as these budgets are going in there, they are going to be importing reasonable, facilities to the country. They will also use it to train Nigerians who are fully involved in this stuff. Most private hospitals in Nigeria have better equipment than even the federal universities, federal university hospital. And, telling Nigerians now don't travel abroad is as if you're trying to mock us, or it's as if you do not even understand. Because when the first time that I saw this news, the first thing that hit my mind was this man, president, did he go there by himself or was he being represented by someone? And the person who went there does not really have, he has no much idea about what has been going on. Those were the questions that hit my mind. And we just want to say that this is absolutely not the right advice. Even if this kind of advice should come, not this time, when we just be seeing our president going to UK, to sought medical attention. We see Nigerian politicians going there. It's absolutely wrong. That's why Nigerians have really, really, really reacted to, this statement. I just want to read one or two sentences. This one said, why people should seek medical treatment any way they can afford. That does not prevent the system to make things right. If things fall in line, education, hospital, employment, electricity, human development, economic development, enabling environment for enterprise to flourish, every sector operating in full capacity. Why will people travel overseas to get treatment or others? Do you feel they are happy to leave their motherland to unknown land in search of a better life? If all was well in the country they found themselves, we have been failed by our leaders. That's what someone has to say, and which is absolutely true. This one say here, he say, I laugh in Swahili, knowing fully that the president will be going to oversee medical checkup by April. So you see, a lot of people even know the medical itinerary of the president, that very soon he'll be traveling abroad for his medical, checkup. These are the things that we are saying. For you to tell Nigerians not to go, it makes no common sense, if you ask me.
Well, it's not new that the presidency have always been embarking on medical tourism. It's also not new that most of our leaders in Nigeria have always been known as medical tourists. What it means is that our hospitals here are neglected. It's as if the federal hospitals are for the poor. If you try using the private hospitals, they are very much not affordable for the average Nigerian. In fact, in Nigeria, we don't have averagely poor. We have either you're poor or you're rich, which means that line average no longer exists in the economy of Nigeria. So what it means is that if you're rich, if you do not want to patronize the private parastatal, you use the teaching hospitals. And if you go to the teaching hospital, they are practically empty. I would explain. What I mean is that the basic things you want to pay for, you pay for syringe. you pay for, after they finish giving you this, when they put it in your bill, you find out that you are paying for consumables under the quote consumables. And what are the consumables? They'll break it down for you. You're paying for drug, paying for syringe, you're paying for practically everything. So why is it a hospital if they don't have those things? And they'll tell you those things are not there, they're not in the hospital. They need to go to the chemist or the pharmacy to go and get them. You pay for them. And now, why would the president want to patronize the hospital that don't have syringe, they don't have consumables, as they have rightly put it? So which means the medical tourism is for the very rich, for the politicians, while the hospitals that are in dilapidated situations, Nigerians should use them. I think Charity should begin at home. If you want to correct, the leadership starts from example. You don't tell me, you don't practice, you practice what you preach. Don't tell us do as I say, don't do as I do, because he is telling us do as I say. And because just last year, Nigerians complained, I think sometime in December, Nigerians complained that he is going to London for private visit. That word private, what is it meant for? So much that some Nigerians reacted negatively and said already the presidency have a particular room to himself in the London hospital that is meant for Nigerian president. So much that there was so much protest. I could still remember that Nigerians in diaspora had to protest that the presidency should either come back to Nigeria or tender his resignation, that he has stayed so long away from Nigeria in the name of being in the hospital. And that's the same presidency that is advising Nigerians to stop wasting resources, stop wasting funds. They should stay back and patronize our hospitals that are not functional. Just fairly recently, sometime last year, the doctors complained bitterly about the allowances, complained bitterly about the working condition of the hospital. Some of them even complained to the point that I felt for them. They said sometimes they work tirelessly. One doctor attending to averagely over 500 patients. They said they're already fagged out. Some of the doctors in particular, who are quite experienced, have found their way out of the country for greener pastures. And those who are looking for jobs, some of the new doctors who came into the system, some of them have found their way, not even entering the system, but one way or the other, there's always slots from their senatorial brothers or senatorial leaders, but the genuine ones who really need to get the job don't fit in, they don't get to work in federal parastatus. So this whole thing just found out that there are square pegs and round holes and all that, and it doesn't all go well for us as a country, because if the president is serious about this, I think he should stop patronizing foreign hospitals. He should stop patronizing Nigerian hospitals. And how does he do it? By the time he's sick, he goes there and finds out that there's no syringe in the hospital. Then everybody will be on their toes. Maybe more provisions will be made, and audits properly carried out to know how all those monies are expended, and ensure that some of these consumables are found in the hospital. I could still remember when Mustafa, the son, was not well. He went to one of those hospitals. He had to be flown abroad because he needed proper medical care, as was recommended. So it's a normal thing for the presidency, it's a normal thing for the leaders of our country to always do medical tourism and expect Nigerians to remain faithful to our local hospitals.
All right, thank you very much. That's where we're going to leave it. Go to our comment section, let us interact.